Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have these wonderful readers and friends of mine on my channel. I have Afefe and I have Kevin with Loving Vibrations. I'm sure you guys know them. They each have channels on YouTube. They're fantastic readers. So check them out on YouTube. If you don't know them, get ready to be really impressed. How are you guys doing? Thanks for joining me, you two. It's kind of exciting.
How are you? How's everybody?
Hey everyone, good to be here. I reached out to Susan and I was like, I love your energy with Afefe. Let's do a show with the three of us. So I'm so glad we were able to get it all in the works. Been looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm super excited, Kevin. I've been loving your work for a really long time, and just an honor to appear. Always a blast to be with Susan, but a real, also a chance to work with you.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited, Afefe. And like I said, I am subscribed to your channel. I haven't watched a whole lot, but I love, from what I've seen, like your collabs with Susan are always, you guys are on fire and you have me cracking up the whole time. So
yeah.
And Afefe has just kind of been doing more political videos. You guys have got to check her political videos out because she will crack you up and she's very accurate. I have a longer history doing political videos with Kevin. And I have a long history with Afefe with classes and all kinds of things. Events. She was at my event. So, I love them both. And you guys are so lucky to see them tonight because I'm really, really pumped about them being here because y'all stuff is going down. Okay, I have a complaint right off the bat. I didn't even warn them. I didn't even warn them, but I'm about to break up my spirit guides over this. I'm about to start using cards. I'm like, y'all want me to use these cards because I'm getting mad. Okay. Kevin is like, it's not Liz Cheney. Please don't let it be.
That's what I was thinking too. We're on the same wavelength right now, my friend.
Yeah, it's not Liz Cheney, but he knows that triggers me. So he has to like.
You want to get Susan fired up? You say Liz Cheney. Woo!
Okay, no, but for real, this is even worse. All right, like you guys, there's so much good news out there. There's so many good things that happened today, but the one thing is Paxton in Texas. He got off right. Afefe got a headache over that. He got off with a $300,000 fine. He got like some legal remediation, like he needs to go take legal classes, or he's the Texas Attorney General. That's you think him just going to take some legal remediation classes and doing some community work. He had like 5 federal felonies. And this is what this man gets away with $300,000 fine. Now, why I'm upset? Yeah, community service. Thank you. Somebody said, what could be worse than Liz Cheney? I know, y'all. This is just today. Tomorrow we get another opportunity for something else. But really what I want y'all's take on, because I really felt like maybe my guides were trying to tell me and I just wasn't listening, because that could be true. But I really felt like he was going down. Like I really felt like this was it. The buck was going to stop with him. This was more than enough, bad deeds and provable bad deeds, because, these were eyewitnesses that were testifying against him. And some of the eyewitnesses were state troopers. I mean, these are really credible witnesses. We're not talking about, Joe Blow around the corner, So my question for you guys, because me and the spirit guides are not talking right now about this subject, is is something really going to come for him? Are we going to see justice in Texas?
I just read on this yesterday, and I do feel like
you did. I watched your show. I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
But no problem. I felt, and I've gotten this before, I felt like it's like a finance charge kind of coming in, but it feels like it's connected with 2 other higher ups. Like I feel like what's the governor? Abbott. I almost feel like Abbott, him, and somebody else higher up were all kind of connected in this corruption, and it was going to be exposed. But I feel jail time for Paxton still. I do.
So that's all the things that I got, and like months ago. And then when it didn't happen, I thought, okay, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe the only other thing is, and I want to hear what Afefe has to say too. Yeah, Dan Patrick too,
Yeah.
Allie. Dan Patrick, don't leave him out. He's up in there too. Is that maybe there's other charges that are going to supersede or be bigger than these charges? Is that what you're getting, Afefe?
Yes, I feel like there's something that is yet to be discovered that's coming up. I've got a card here I want to share with y'all. It's called Old Connections. So I think there's, and I got Chaos. I think there's something else that's still coming for him that's going to take this over the edge, and it's going to be irrefutable. I mean, like this wasn't right, but
I understand. Yeah,
there's something. It's just going to be where he's going to hit a wall, and there won't be any place else for him to go. And I don't know, you all, maybe I'm going off on a curve or a tangent here, but I think there is something that collectively is happening with a lot of these issues, Paxton on across the board, with these criminals that just seem to be winning right now. There is something almost, I feel like it's spirit using it to galvanize us so that we don't let our feet up off the gas. You know what I mean? Oh yes, justice has been served, and here we are in April. We can all breathe a sigh of relief. It's almost like the pressure just keeps building so that we understand the stakes are higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel federal? Because I'm wondering if Jack Smith or who would investigate him if he's Texas AG. I mean, I guess the DOJ could do it.
I don't think it's Jack Smith, but the DOJ, I feel like it is federal.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too, because when Afefe was talking, like I said, I was picking up some money issues, and like her card, the Old Connection, made me kind of think of it. It almost felt like maybe digging into some of the state resource money or like infrastructure money is kind of how it was coming through for me. Like there's corruption and bribes or but like all these three people are kind of included in that.
I feel that.
Plus more. I agree with Afefe too about this. It's sort of like this building pressure, right? You know, it's gathering. It's karma, basically. I think it's karma coming for these people. I'm sure it was a plea deal. I'm sure Queenie, the genie, that it was a plea deal. It was a very sweet plea deal. But I agree with you guys. That's kind of what my guides talked me off the ledge with is that, you know, this isn't over. This is one set of charges. And there's some bigger things coming that I think must supersede Texas, because obviously Texas, he's kind of got some things sewn up, you might say. So if the feds come for him, it's just not going to be that easy. He's not going to be able to wiggle out of things and get this sweetheart deal.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, go ahead, Afefe.
Really quick. Thank you. Really quick. I'm getting a hit that because of all of the intentional pushback against the feds, especially around the border issues, they've got them, like it's queued them up a little bit. Like they're looking for that opening. So, you know what I mean? Because they've been so determined to you know, give the feds the finger. I think there's going to be some get back.
Yeah.
Justifiable.
I almost feel like we're going to hear more about like charges or like investigations into it. It feels like it comes after this eclipse, but it's kind of related to it, like in May, June.
Okay. I'm with you. And do you both feel, now you guys, if you just tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. We're talking about Paxton, who's the Texas Attorney General, who is the only kind of dark, cloudy spot in our beautiful day we're having today, politically, I think. But he had 5 federal charges against him. And somehow he got off with a $300,000 fine, which for him is like, you know, a weekend stay at a hotel or something. But anyway, do you feel like these 3, Abbott, Paxton, and Patrick, which would be the lieutenant governor, the governor of Texas, and the AG of Texas, do you feel like, so these charges loop them all together, you're feeling like? Or they're like dominoes. One hits the next and the next one falls?
Yeah, because they colluded.
Yeah.
They colluded.
For purposes only, allegedly.
Alleged.
It feels like they go after Paxton, and when they're investigating Kim, it's like he
Okay.
is the one that gives off the other two to try to save himself.
Okay. That sounds about right there. That totally sounds right because he is a chicken. Okay, very awesome read on that. You talked me down off the ledge. Now these can just be like, my pacifier. I love cards because I love the energy of them. So I often use them or have them in my hands because I love the energy of them, but I don't know how to read them. Okay. Thank you, Karma. That's a great super sticker. I appreciate that so much. All right. Welcome, everybody. We have two awesome readers here. We have, because your names are not under you right now, but Kevin, Loving Vibration is down below, who has a new website. You guys can check that out. www.kevinslovingvibrations.com. It is pretty snazzy, Kevin. I love it.
Yeah.
You can book him online for healings and readings, and you do class. You have a membership, and I think you do classes. Is that correct?
I'm not teaching yet, but my goal is to start teaching some Reiki classes this summer and into the fall.
Super.
But yeah, I was really excited about the website, getting that all up off the ground. And Jason Tempinski actually designed it, and he did a wonderful job. It's so much better than what I could have even imagined. So
it's always nice when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Afefe with Touched by Tarot here on YouTube. And her website is truly Touched by Tarot. She does classes. You have a membership. You do readings. You do events. I mean, so these guys are great readers. If you guys need a healing or a reading, Kevin is a good guy to go to. And if you need a reading or, Afefe also is an amazing reader. So just reintroducing you guys because people are coming in late, and we're going to move on. Paxton is crooked AF. Yes, absolutely. 100% Dibsy. Check this out. Some of our good news. Thank you, Barbara. John Eastman has been disbarred.
Yes.
We have to count the wins when we get them. Really, really good. And the other thing that's just been amazing is, I don't remember her name. Is it Maryland in Alabama, who won the state house seat? And she ran on pro-choice and IVF, and that's it. I mean, she was like, this is my platform in Alabama. And she mopped up the floor with that guy, like plus 30 points. Alabamans are like, what just happened? Right. So the changes are happening, guys. The things that we've been telling you guys are going to happen are happening. There's so many good things happening right now.
Yeah. 67% of the vote.
67% of the vote for a woman based on pro-choice and IVF, in vitro fertilization.
Yeah.
And they already swore her in. So it must have been like a special election or something.
It was a special election.
She's already like, let's do this.
Trump had won that district, I think, in 2020 by a couple points. So that's a huge shift. Women are upset, and that's why I keep telling everybody. I know the news is all doom and gloom, and Trump is way ahead in the polls. And it's like, well, these past elections, even in red states, Democrats have overperformed and have done extremely well because women are pissed off, and you don't tell women what they can or can't do with their bodies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We can concur to that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any questions or anything you guys, Kevin, Afefe, do you guys want to read on, or any questions you have that you want to throw out here to the floor?
I wouldn't even know where to start. There's so much. I mean, there's just so much. It's like,
okay, let's talk about the gag order. Okay.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Merchant was Judge Merchant, right? He put the gag order on Trump because Trump was talking about Judge Merchant's daughter, who it turns out it has a digital media company. That's what she does for a living, and she did work with the VP before the VP was the VP. She's worked with politicians, so she's in the business. That is his daughter. Okay, but that doesn't matter. No, it does. You know what I mean? She's not on trial. She should not be a part of this man's, verbiage in any way, shape, or form. And now they're saying that so he got a gag order yesterday. Today he said some more dirt about her. He kind of doubled down. On dirt about the judge and everybody. It was worse today. So people are saying, is he going to get another gag order? What is the judge going to do here? I would just say one more thing for everybody is that Trump is saying that this woman put up a meme that was, inappropriate or made Trump look bad. So he's upset that she put up a meme against him. Like this is some reason to allow him to defame or libel her in the middle of a court case. Let's understand, this is a court case. There's jury. There's a jury. There's people who need to not, be tainted. Trump is in the court case. She is not in the court case. Number one. Number two, they're not sure that this is actually her account. Now they're sleuthing and finding out that this has been done to other judges and their kids or other senators. And so they create these fake accounts and then they put up these memes and then they attribute them to these people. We're not even sure this is really her meme. So now that Trump has tripled down on this, do you guys think the judge is going to throw him in jail? Do you think the judge is going to give him a fine or do nothing? I mean, I think he could also call Trump into the court and just have a talking to him and say, explain yourself. What are you doing? So those are the three options, I think. Throw him in jail, fine him, or call him into the court, where from that point, he could do those other two things if he wanted to.
Yeah. I had read on this yesterday, and actually during my live show yesterday, I had brought up that the judge was acting as a kid and that he was going to put a gag order on him. And like 10, 15 minutes later, everybody was saying, oh, he put a gag order on him. This judge isn't playing with Trump. I do feel like he's going to be reprimanded. That resonates like having a talking to. I actually think that there's going to be some sanctions, but I do feel like the threat of jail will be there. But I think giving him sanctions or fines to pay, it's going to have Trump kind of slow down a little bit. But I'm not surprised a day later, not even a day later, he violated the gag order. I mean, we know how he can't help himself, and he just likes to continue to kind of push and see how far he can get away with stuff. But I see this judge being really hard on him. He's not playing.
Yeah, he's over it. He's over it. And he's actually, from what I understand, he's actually displayed a little bit of temper on the bench. Because he's at his threshold with Trump. I too get the sense that he is going to get hit with some fines. That's going to be the first, order because he has to do something. He can't sit, the man is clearly violating the order and is not going to stop. I also think I'm getting a hit. This is kind of strategic on DJT's part because he wants to see how far he can push that envelope.
I agree.
If in fact he is jailed, how he will spin that whole look at what they're doing to me. He's compared himself to Jesus and the crucifixion and all of that. So, look, here goes the persecution, what they're doing. So there's a really fine line that I think he's aware of. And he's just going to push it to the max. But so I don't know. I don't know about jailing him, but I certainly see him being fined.
Yeah.
Because remember, didn't he get a fine for like $100,000 for contempt of court? And then he this was in the past, right? And then he I think he might have even gotten that a few days in a row. And then he was like, whoop, okay, I'm good. So it'd have to be pretty stout fine, but he does respond to money.
Yeah.
He responds to
money. Can you imagine though? And I agree with Afefe. He would love the photo op of him being arrested and in jail so that he can play this big victim to all of his supporters. They're out to get me, this witch hunt, feel sorry for me, give me money. But can you imagine how bad he would lose his mind if he actually had to be in a jail cell for like more than a couple hours? He would go crazy.
He would. He really would. And that's part of, from what I understand, that's one of his deepest, darkest fears because of his father's dementia. you know, that because that's a gene. Well, not necessarily inherited, but that is an inherited gene. And his father suffered from dementia.
Yeah.
So the crazy part, you know, I under from, you know, some of the stories I've read about him have said that is something that eats away at him, is he ate, you know, this whole age thing that's been a part of all of this, was that one of his fears about aging is that what happened to his father could happen to him.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is too.
I mean, it looks like it's happening in real time in front of all of us. You know what I mean? Because those last two tweets or today, or tweets, his truce, they were pretty wrecked. I mean, there were misspellings and just, they looked a little bit unhinged, honestly, even for him. So they definitely got under his collar with this.
Yeah.
I do have a question for the two of you, because I keep getting conflicting stuff in my cards, and sometimes it's like I'm not sure if it's because it's what I want to see or what I'm seeing from the spirit. Is he going to come up with this 175 mil?
I've been on both sides of that myself. And the bottom line, what I get from my guides is whatever he gets, it's going to like come back and smack him. So if he does get the money, it's going to cause him problems in the sense that he's going to get it from a source that won't be vetted, or so if he does get the money, it's not going to be vetted. It's his worst nightmare. That's what the guides keep telling me. This money that he gets, it actually ends up being like his undoing or his downfall in some way. But then also, I also get that he may not get the monies. I can't get a clear answer either. Kevin, do you have a way to split the difference?
Split the
I agree with you though, Susan. I do feel like I feel like somebody's giving him money, but my fear is obviously that it's a foreign actor, you know, getting the money, and that's kind of what I was picking up. But I think where maybe it's a bit confusing is before, when we were reading on it, we were thinking he was going to have to pay the 400 and something, $465 million. You know, it's ridiculous that they lowered it, but I don't think he would have been able to pay that much. But I think the 175 million he'll be able to. But it's just for the bond. So when he loses his appeal, he's still going to have to owe the 400 and something million dollars. But if it was any of us that did even a tiny fraction of what Trump is doing, or, you know, terrorizing judges and their staff and all of this illegal stuff, we'd be locked up, you know. So I understand why people are so frustrated like this. You know, it's not fair. It's not fair, all the special treatment and privilege that he gets. And then he goes on a grift saying that they're attacking me and it's all a witch hunt and I'm not getting any special treatment. I did nothing wrong. It's so baffling.
It's frustrating. It's super frustrating. That's one of the things I did get right. I did get that there would be a reduction in his bail amount and it would be a delay, but I got something else wrong. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm batting about, 80%, 60, 78. I don't even know. Who knows? But anyway, I think that he's still coming apart at the seams, whether it's, mental, everything is just falling apart. Like he's pretty soon, his bus, the wheels are off, the door is like a Boeing plane. The doors are going to be flying off. Stuff's going to be flying off of it. I just see him disintegrating, basically. Did you guys still see that?
Oh, he has to. I mean, ultimately he has to. He cannot.
What do you mean he has to? Because who's going to make him? What do you mean?
Because he is a human being. Oh, I mean, a scary one at that. But can you imagine? Think for one moment the impact in the cells in his body, in his, never mind the deterioration of his brain, but he is not taking good care of his body.
That's true.
Anybody who endures this type of heightened stress over a certain period of time. So I think outside of the karmic aspect of it, he is disintegrating, to use your word, Susan. He is disintegrating before our eyes. Did you all get a look at him? What was it, Monday after the hearing?
Yeah.
And that white line around his mouth, and it was bad. I mean, he's not good on his best day, but that you can see him being eaten up from inside.
Mm, yeah. All of that anger is just eating him and consuming him. Yeah, I agree. And I agree with the health issues. It's very interesting because I just did a throw comparing like the next 6 months for Trump compared to Biden. And April, Trump had the tower. May, he had the Ten of Swords. Then he had like, I don't remember all the cards, but like all the worst cards that you could imagine. So it's like I think April is key for his downfall. It just continues to get worse and worse, but something big is happening in April for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And it very well could be the health, but it could be some of these legal challenges too. I actually almost wonder too if there's going to be more charges against him too, like some big bombshell coming out in April.
That's what I just got. When you were talking, I heard disclosure, and I'm not talking about aliens. I'm talking about disclosure of some new case, new charges, new evidence. And I think it's the same energy like Afefe was saying earlier. It's like the energy just keeps building and building and building for these people until the whole thing is gone. And I feel like this is what's happening with 45. It's just not, it's not surmountable. He cannot surmount it. The guides are saying he doesn't. Oh, and let me just tell you guys, listen to this. This makes sense. So the guides woke me up on the morning, like the night of the lunar eclipse, like at 2:30 in the morning. I wake up and my guides are saying to me, for allegedly for entertainment purposes only, whatever his name.
JT
45. I can't get the initials right in my head right now. 45. 45 has colluded with Russia to overturn the election. And I'm like, everybody knows that. Why are you waking me up? I'm thinking, I need boundaries. I need bouncers. I need something. It's 2:30 in the morning. I don't know why y'all waking me up. I literally like fluff my pillow back up. I'm like, and then they had the nerve, the audacity to say it's kind of a big deal. And I was like, oh, is it really? It's a big deal. It's, like, and then they told me, well, it was in 2023. And I was like, go on. You know what I mean? Like, wow. So we know he did this in 2016.
Yeah.
So now apparently, and maybe this has already been common knowledge or publicized. I don't know. This is what my spirit guides are telling me. Starting in 2023, allegedly, he was colluding with the Russians to already overturn this election. And I think it's going to be proven. Perhaps that's what comes out in April. Perhaps that's what I get. June, like for me, June is like a really big month for the Donald to have a bad month. I mean, they're all bad, but June is like for me really bad as well. What do you guys think? Do you think he already started this process? I mean, does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it was just Russia too. I think it was other governments he's trying to get their help with the election. I do agree with you. I do feel like something more coming out about that, Susan, but I almost feel maybe, and it doesn't feel like it's just Trump. It feels like the MAGAs, I think the Congress. I almost feel like dark money connections being revealed is my kind of hit.
Yeah.
But
and
it's
remember,
Trump is my feeling.
And I think going back to the April piece, remember, if it holds up, that trial is going forward. The first trial is going forward on the 15th.
Now, you guys think it's going to go?
I
Yeah.
think it's going. It's going. They've run out of leg room. They've run out of excuses. I think that one's going. I think it's going to be the only one to go this year. I mean, if you guys disagree, I'd love to hear it. But I just get the sense. I mean, we know Cannon is done. Like whatever. Georgia is a mess. It'll happen over time, but that's going to be so drawn out. And what else we got? I'm missing something. Georgia,
January 6th.
And the January.
But I almost feel like the DC case will happen before the election, or maybe it doesn't conclude before the election. But I think it's going to happen still like August, September.
You think that? Oh, I hope so. But anyway, back to Susan's point, and when the guides spoke on everything, like I do think so. Between that trial going forward, expect it to last about 6 weeks. So you figure that could put us into June.
Yeah.
That's April. Yeah,
I
6 months, 6
broke
weeks from April 15th.
us into June. So that could be when that trial starts to wrap up.
Holy moly, y'all. So what do y'all think? Y'all think he's gonna be guilty for, isn't it like 34 counts or 30 something counts? Do you guys feel like he's gonna be guilty for some of those, all of those? What is your feeling?
Overwhelming majority of them.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's all of them. My only concern with it, though, too, is I think with bringing the charges and making it a felony or their jail time included with it is a bit tricky. And I do feel like there's some disappointment there. I'm not going to lie. But I do feel like he'll be charged and found guilty. He's going to appeal it. But do I feel like he gets jail time as a result of these charges? I'm not necessarily feeling that.
No, I don't think he's going to get jail. Interestingly, I just pulled the justice card, but I got the justice card with the Seven of Pentacles. So that, I think that speaks exactly to what Kevin was just saying, because there
Yeah.
is this sort of, hurry up and wait quality to that Seven of Pentacles with that justice. Yeah, I agree. I don't see him going to jail, but I just think the impact of him being found guilty is going to be another part of that, what piles on,
Yeah.
and he's going to start to just disintegrate and crumble. It's almost like he's in a jail within his own mind. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
really good. It's a great description of what's going on with him. And
Yeah.
and he'll probably be fined. If he's not going to be in jail, then he's going to have a hefty fine, I would assume.
Yeah.
And we all know money, he doesn't really have, y'all know he's selling Bibles now.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started on
With
that.
Lee Greenwood, God bless, what the hell happened to Lee Greenwood? With Lee Greenwood's lyrics in there and a flag, I mean, he's going to $69 his way right up to $4 billion.
Any day now. Any day now. And they said this thing is coming packaged with a copy of the Constitution and the articles of something like, it's a package, it's this package.
I wish they'd read the damn Constitution.
They read it. Yeah.
I'll never forget when he was president and he went over to that church when they were protesting and had the Bible upside down looking like he was reading it. Oh my gosh. What a joke.
It's one of my favorite books. It's one of my favorite.
I just don't know why I don't burst into flames. That's what I don't understand. I really don't.
Crazy.
It's not too late.
Going back to the old point, though, I do feel like he'll be found guilty, but maybe rather than jail time, maybe probation or something like that.
Probation. Nice.
Can you imagine? But I just probation came to me. I don't know. It's pretty insulting.
Ankle monitor.
I see.
He'll make money off that ankle monitor. Go ahead.
Yeah, he'll make money off of it. He'll get someone that's engraved with his face or whatever. Did you know? Looked up the Bible thing, and they were talking about the merch that he's launched. Of course, we know about the sneakers recently, but he has a cologne. Did you all know about this cologne? So
I can't imagine.
He has a cologne in a tall, it looks like one of his towers. It's a tall gold cologne with a bobblehead, like his head on the top as the stopper of this cologne for $99.
Jeez.
And it says 45 on the bottle.
Do you smell like Donald Trump and his dirty diapers? Is that what the scent of the cologne is?
Is that what it is? Or maybe it's the smell of bankruptcy.
How about that? How about that?
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to know about that. Thank you, Martine. I appreciate that. And let's ask a question here. Beth Stevenson. This is interesting because Beth Stevenson says, how will the Kennedy-Shanahan entry affect the 2024 election? Shanahan is a woman who was married to one of the co-founders of Google, right? And then she had a baby with Elon Musk. But she's got quite a bit of money. And so she's the money bags. So she brings the money to this equation. Now, I have to tell you guys, I have never even cared about Kennedy, not been worried about Kennedy, couldn't be bothered to even think about Kennedy. I don't think he's a threat to Biden in any way. Maybe you guys disagree. But I do think for some reason, with this addition with this woman and the influx of the cash, he's a threat to Trump. I think so. What if Trump disintegrates, nuts out, whatever happens to him? I don't know. What if Kennedy and Shanahan try to step into that? Do you think Trumpers would? Because this man says crazy things. Like, what was he saying about the water causing you to be trans? Like, he says things that are beyond the pale crazy. So he fits right in for a Trumper. He checks all their boxes. So do you guys feel like the Trumpers might, if Trump should step to the side, I'm not saying he's going to win. He's not going to win against Biden. I'm just interested to see if he's going to pick up enough Trumpers to even be a nuisance. Sorry.
I don't really see him going very far. I do feel like there may be a very, very small percentage like he takes from Biden, but my feeling is that he takes a lot more from Trump. Yeah. And it's actually interesting because I was on my phone looking, I think on Yahoo, and there was a CNN video clip of Kennedy supporters. There was like 7 of them. And the person interviewing them asked them, well, if RF or if Kennedy is if he ends up leaving, who will you vote for? And 6 out of the 7 said Donald Trump. So that right there tells you that they're Donald Trump voters.
Right.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And I think he's bitten off a little more than he expected to chew or will expect to chew with what's her name, Shanahan. Number one, from what I understand, she is his top donor. She has spent the most money with him.
Okay.
So that in and of, it's almost like she bought it. You know what I mean? She paid her way into him bringing her on board, but she's run in those circles in Silicon Valley, in those, quote unquote progressive circles, to the extent that I'm not sure. She just impresses me. And what I was reading on her yesterday, actually, when I heard about it, or no, earlier this morning when I heard about it. She's a handful, and I don't think she's a handful. And I'm not so sure that she's going to go along as smoothly and as seamlessly as JFK might think, as Kennedy might think. I think there's going to be some conflict there between them. And so to that point, I also think that thanks for that info, Kevin, around the people who said, ultimately then they would vote for Trump. I agree. I think it's going to wind up damaging him more than Biden. But she's one to watch. She's interesting.
Yeah.
And Kevin, the healing medium, is here. Hey, good to see you. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was just going to say real quick, I know that there's a fear that young people will vote for RFK because they're upset with Biden over Gaza. But I do see Biden attacking him. And I was just watching it on the news earlier. RFK was going crazy saying that like everybody in the world pampers the Palestinians and they're all starving and it's all, it's all destruction over there. But we all kind of come in and support them and make sure that they're taken care of. It's ridiculous. And I actually think when Biden starts attacking him, a lot of these young voters are going to really see how crazy he is.
They're going to get turned off. Yeah. They're going to get turned off.
I mean, especially if they see the clips that I saw earlier today on CNN with some of them drowning, people in Gaza drowning because they were going into the ocean trying to get supplies that were being
so wrong. It's so wrong. It's beyond wrong. Hey, Karen from Little Blue Lotus Astrology. So somebody also somebody posted. I didn't hear this, so I don't know. Thank you, Queenie, for the super chat. Thank you, Rose Blue. Thank you, Julianne. But I didn't see this, so I don't know. Joel Tilson, who's a regular, Netanyahu's cabinet resigning. I don't know if you're saying will they or did they. But I definitely see fractures within that leadership. Within Netanyahu is getting just kind of marginalized, pushed out to the side is what I see. The problem is I don't know what legality they have to get rid of him, but this is becoming beyond it's not becoming, it's been horrendous, right?
Yeah.
But it's getting to a point of no return of horrendous. And I really think that a lot of Israelis don't support this and don't support Netanyahu. I mean, sure, you got to find Hamas. Look, the guys have always told you guys, Hamas is like the Viet Cong. You're going to go into this, or any of these, kind of terrorist cells. They melt into the woodwork. You can't just bomb everything and kill everybody, including and Biden has said, let's be strategic. Let's do some strategic things. And Netanyahu keeps declining. So I know that Biden also is really getting ready to take the gloves off with Netanyahu. He's pulling back. I know that the United States, the polling suggests that people are not supporting Israel the way they did. I think Israel is really going to lose their standing in the world to a degree because of Netanyahu. I know that's a strong statement. I support Jewish people. I support Israel. I support Israel having its own free state, but I also support Palestine having its own free state. And I support peace. This is not an equal return of power. This is not an equal return of the eye for the eye. This is getting just absolutely to be almost a Hague war crime. And that is pretty strong statement for me, probably stronger than I've made in the past, but this is where we are. So what do you guys see about, and of course, this is my opinions. It doesn't reflect what Afefe or Kevin think. It's completely my opinions. Okay. What do you guys think about his cabinet resigning?
I agree. I feel like there's some that's leaving. It's fractured. I think somebody just resigned, which is maybe why Joel asked, if I remember correctly. But I do feel like there's fractures and people kind of stepping down because they can't support Netanyahu and his extremism. And I do agree with you, Susan. I almost feel like there will be war crimes brought up against him at some point. Wow. But I've always felt that they're able to call, I think from a lot of world pressure, they're able to call an election. I almost felt like that he would be out like summer or fall of this year, but because of an election,
like a special election. Okay.
Yeah, like an early, like them voting, and I'm not sure how their government really operates. I think it's coalitions, if I remember correctly.
They can have coalitions, but because of the war, they were supposed to have a coalition government, but because of the war, the attack, they switched to the single leader because of that special that terrible, horrible thing that happened to Israel, right? I mean, I'm not downplaying any of this. This is all terrible. So what do you think of Afefe?
I don't know why. I just keep getting pulled to Benny Gantz.
Oh, right.
I think that among the many mistakes that Netanyahu's made, when he silenced and benched Gantz when he returned from, I mean, granted, he made the trip here apparently without the seal of approval. Okay. But since he's returned, he's been benched. He's been told he's no longer going to be a part of any negotiations or any delegations he's just been benched. And I think if he had enough juice as a part of that cabinet to be the one who was chosen, he didn't just jump up and do it by himself, that there had to be some things, some sort of collaborative effort behind it. They said, okay, Benny, you're that guy, you go, you go sit down and talk to Kamala and the folks in DC. So the fact that he went back and now he's been shoved, over in a corner in time out by Netanyahu, I just wonder, I get a sense that there's going to be more people who begin to, back him up, and maybe that's going to be a part of the fracture as well.
Yeah.
More vocal. I think the citizens are also going to be more vocal in this whole thing. Is there a woman? I know Benny Gantz. Well, that's what we're talking about. I mean, Benny Gantz would be a sort of that's what Afefe, I think, is trying to say. He's the logical person to replace Netanyahu. I feel like he's high enough there. He's got, like Afefe was saying, he's got the support. He wouldn't have gotten this high in that administration if he didn't have the support. But I'm starting to wonder what you guys think about this, because as we're talking, if there's a troll in the chat, you guys please get rid of them. Just throw them out. I have no patience for trolls. Just ban them, throw them out, throw them wherever. Okay. I'm getting something about a woman, a peacemaker woman. You too? You too?
I told her.
Is
and I was
it,
like, who is this?
I don't know.
I pulled the Queen of Pentacles. And I was like, who is that?
It's not Kamala Harris, is it? Kevin, are you getting anything? I mean, are we just like
I did feel that I don't know if she is prime minister, but I did feel like a very prominent woman coming in after Netanyahu's gone to bridge and make a deal for the two-state solution. Yeah. I've seen that for a while.
It feels like that to me. No, is that in the Israeli government?
Israeli. Yes. I'm feeling Israeli. Yes. Yeah. I don't think it's Kamala. This is Israeli.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting.
A bad mama jamma. She's coming with strength.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the Ace of Pentacles. She's like,
you're gonna need it.
About to hit reset. We are about to hit the reset button.
Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, we're gonna hit the reset button. Thank you, I Am Astro. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I've always seen when all this went down, I did see two states forming. And I'm telling you, my spirit guides are stubborn about this because, and it does make kind of sense from a practical standpoint, that there should be a boundary between the two, Palestine and Israel, and it should just be one boundary. If you have a country, a community surrounded by another country, no one's going to feel safe. Mm-hmm. And I think with good reason. So I kind of see them bisecting this land, with maybe Palestine getting the northern position, the Israelis getting the southern position, and then perhaps like Bethlehem or something like that being a UNESCO world site, not owned by anybody. It's owned by the world. We're going to make this owned by the world. We're going to staff it with world type military people. But I feel like if you had just one border that was a demilitarized zone, it would make everybody feel a lot safer. If you split it down the long way, then you got a hellaciously long border that somebody's got to maintain or manage. And I just don't know that it's going to work. Do you guys feel like that's at all feasible? Or do you see another way of the two-state solution? Have you guys seen anything or gotten any hits about that?
I'm not sure exactly how they would do it, but I do agree with you, Susan. When the whole thing happened, I felt like a two-state solution, but it does almost feel like maybe it feels like it's a bit, that's part of the issue there is like, how do we split up this land? I think it's going to take a while to get to that two-state solution. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it might take about a year and a half, but I do think that they'll be able to kind of maybe somehow divide it.
Yeah.
I think it's post Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it's post Netanyahu. I agree.
And I also feel, I don't want to jump on any bandwagon with conspiracy theorists, but something does ping me about the recent sort of undercurrent that we started hearing about a land grab, and the idea that one of the reasons that there's been this reluctance to enter into any serious negotiations for a ceasefire is because the eyes are on the prize for how to develop that land in Gaza.
So that's not a conspiracy theory at all. I don't think that is a conspiracy theory.
I mean, what do you all think about?
We're talking about the beach.
Yes.
We're talking about the beach, because people have already come out and said that would be worth a lot of money. We could put condos on that. People have actually said these things out loud. I mean, developers, people that have access to media have said these things. So that they're thinking about it. But again, that's part of that negotiating thing, that how do you, we were almost there. I feel like, wasn't it Carter? Who was it that almost brokered the deal, a really good peace deal? But we're going to get there. I just don't know how we're going to, but I agree. I think it's post Netanyahu. And I think this woman has some sort of calming effect. She just has some sort of magic. Like she's able to bring people to the table and, two very different energies to the table, not just people, but two groups of people that don't trust each other and have every reason not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an excellent mediator between the two sides is what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I actually feel like Netanyahu may be out, like I said, summer or fall of this year.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like he's been there much longer.
Yeah.
No.
I agree. I feel like he's got to go. He's now a real pain in Biden's backside. This is an election year. This is just all kind of problems with this that are untenable. Basically, this is untenable. These people need to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be safe. My God, what is going on? So, yeah, I agree. Just you guys, we have to just ride the energy. It's not going to be on our timeline, unfortunately, but it is moving that direction. There is energy moving that direction. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Daisy. And I wanted to just ask, this is a great question too, Julianne Jones, because one of the things about the woman in Alabama who won the state seat, if you were just joining us, we talked about that earlier. This woman in Alabama flipped a state seat that had by like 30 points or something. It had been won by Trump. It was solidly red, and she really won on and ran on a woman's right to choose and in vitro fertilization. And that was it. That's all she was like, this is my thing. And she won it. And the thing that I want to bring up is that those polls had her losing.
Yeah.
Those polls had her losing, and she wiped the floor with them. So Julianne's question, and it's a great question. Are polls accurate? How can DJT still be leading in some? Do they represent MAGA in higher percentages? What do you guys think?
I hate
Afefe?
Yeah. I hate polls. I hate polls with a passion. And I can tell you in all of my 60 some odd years, I have never been contacted and asked my opinion on a poll. Like, who do they call is my question, first of all. No, I don't. In a word, no, I don't think that polls are accurate. I think they are strategic. And I think they know the populace that they want to target, sometimes to a certain effect. And so that they get the results that they tend to think are going to happen anyway, because we see so often that what they tell us is going to happen is not what but who does these? Who are they calling? I mean, back in the old day, you used to do it on landlines. Who has landlines any longer?
That's what Nicole just said.
Yeah.
And my thing is, you guys, anybody under 40 is, you got a text. You're not even answering your phone. Half of y'all, when I call you for your sessions, y'all ain't even answering the phone because it's blocking my number because I'm somebody you don't know. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to talk to you. How do you think a pollster's going to talk to you? So, yeah, the model is wrong, right? Like the guides have always said, you need to get out in the streets. You actually need to go and meet these people at college universities, at concerts, at sporting events. You want an accurate poll, send some people out in the streets and get an accurate poll, or find a better way. Because these polls are terrible. Yeah.
Well, when was the last time that the polls were even accurate? When Obama won his first term? They haven't been pretty accurate since then.
It's true. Since then.
I mean, we remember 2022. Republicans are going to take 50, 60 seats in the House, and it's going to be a bloodbath. They got a couple seats there. I do agree. I think that some of them are skewed, and it kind of goes into this narrative of, Donald Trump's winning, but by 10 points in these polls. But then it goes into like the whole election conspiracy about how he was cheated. I do feel like that it's legit with that, but I also feel like they don't. I don't think they target a lot of people that are not likely voters, which I see coming out because they're upset about the Roe v. Wade, um, or people that vote in every election. I see a lot of women coming out that maybe don't typically vote because of Roe v. Wade, and also I don't think that they do a very good job at getting a hold of younger voters too.
I don't think they do a good job of that.
Yeah.
And maybe not workers, maybe maybe they're skewed towards retirees or
Mm,
people that are not working, because you're at work. How are you going to get a poll call at work? How are you going to get that? So,
yeah.
yeah. So, Jewel, some people are saying that they are getting some. You got texted to see a poll to see a voting for Biden today. You know what this brings up? The guides are reminding me. If somebody in the chat can put this in there, I would appreciate it, because I can't remember her name. ECM Elizabeth something. She's an attorney. She's a New York federal attorney, used to be. She also taught at Columbia Law. She does an every day at 11 a.m. Central. She does a roundup of the legal news, and she's phenomenal. And I've suggested you guys before to check her out on YouTube. Resistance Live, I think, on YouTube. I love it because in 1 hour, I can learn all the legal things I need to know without reading the bias of anybody. She is such a stickler for facts. Probably too much so. But anyway, why I'm saying this is because she said there are some scammers out there saying they're raising money for Democrats, and they're using Act Blue as their cash register, but the money's not going to the Democrats. Act Blue is just a cash register. It's like PayPal. So anybody can sign up and use it as a processor of the payment. So what she suggests is you guys go to these people's actual sites. So one of my favorites is Gloria Johnson in Tennessee. Go to Gloria Johnson's website, donate directly through the candidate's site. If you're going to donate to Biden, he sure could use the money. Go to Biden's website. So some of these polls could also be random. They could be scammers. They could be trying to collect your information. They could be selling your information. If you answer the phone and you're a Democrat, that is a data point that they can sell. They have your phone number and they know you're a Democrat, that they can sell that to the Democrats or to somebody else. So you guys, we just need to be careful. It's called Resistance Live. It's yes, Elizabeth Cronies McLaughlin. I can tell y'all, she screams a little bit and she bans people like it's popping popcorn. I mean, if you say nothing's ever going to change, she's going to ban you, because she says that is disinformation. Don't get in here and tell me nothing's ever going to change. Things are changing every day. That's disinformation. I don't even know who you are. Maybe you working for the other side. Boom, you gone. So she's a trip, man. But it's very helpful. Very helpful.
Yeah. And that's a good point, Susan, just to make sure that everybody stays protected and not just, I get a text, let's donate money. Yeah. Making sure that you really kind of research and actually go to their campaign page to donate.
That's a great point.
It's just like the Wild West out there, y'all. It really is. It's just kind of like the Wild West. Yeah, no, she does do that. She bans people that promotes conspiracy theories in the chat, and she really does. She has she's a prosecutor. She is a prosecutor. She does not, she's very intense, Julie. She is very intense, but I love facts and data, and I like getting it in a quick amount of time. Anybody else have some questions? You guys, anybody else?
I have a question while we're queuing up one from the crew. If you all don't mind, I'd love your take. What's happening? What's going to happen with election workers this year?
I feel like it's a bit tough, though. I do feel like there's definitely challenges. There's shortage of election workers because people are getting threatened. I do actually feel like maybe after this election, maybe there's laws that get put into place to really make sure that
I agree.
the safety and security of these election workers are, prioritized. But I do feel like it feels very weird, because I feel, and I've said this with Susan before, as Trump kind of goes down, I don't know if the health takes him out before the election, but I feel like there's so much chaos in the Republican Party in the Republican voters. Like it's split like several different ways. And people are just so angry about what's happened. Like a portion of them, I do see it being a bit tricky going into the fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've been getting mixed signals from the guys on that too, and in my readings, it's like I agree. I know I feel like at some point they're actually going to be laws that get put into play. They have to,
Yeah.
not in time,
Not in
not
time.
in time this year. But so then, who's going to jump up and volunteer, knowing what what could happen, and especially in some of these swing states. I mean,
Mm,
who's gonna do it in Georgia right now? Like, who's gonna go back out there after what happened to Ruby and Ruby Freeman and her daughter? Like, who's so I just think it's an interesting concern, and maybe we all need to continue to put our prayers and light around that, because
yeah.
we need honest poll workers, and they need to feel protected to go out and do their job.
Yeah.
I think we need to volunteer. You know what I mean? These are I mean, you get paid a little bit, but one thing that I keep hearing from the guides is the Republicans keep saying they're going to have poll watchers because, of course, they think everybody's trying to steal something. So I feel like we need poll watchers as well. We need to support the whole process. This is the time to get involved. And riffing off of that, apparently there's new data that shows that there's more contested races than ever before. So a lot of times, Republicans just run uncontested in these red states, but there's more contested. So more people are running in these races. So people are stepping up to run. I think please consider, you guys, stepping up to be a poll watcher, to maybe work for the campaign. You have to be like whatever 100 yards or 50 yards away, but any amount of eyes is good.
Yeah.
We need safety in numbers is what I'm thinking. And I would suggest that you guys try to stick around. So when the poll workers are leaving, like sometimes it might be after dark, stick around. Why not stick around? Get a group of people together and stick around and walk them to their cars.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be the people we're waiting for. There ain't nobody coming.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, I think Kevin is right. Next year, we're going to have some really sweeping reforms and laws that are going to come in that are really going to put teeth in the protection. But right now, there just isn't any. And I think that there's safety in numbers. I think we all need to band together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be okay, but I do feel like there's
Overall,
a shortage. I feel like there's threats there, but a lot of and I actually feel like there's quite a bit of maybe some college students coming in to be poll workers too.
Nice.
So I feel like it's going to be okay, but I definitely feel like it's a concern of many people.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask one question? I don't know if you
Sure.
got me started.
Well, sure.
What is both of your opinions on all the craziness going on in the House with MTG?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that.
Filing a motion to vacate, all of these Republicans leaving, and the party imploding. I felt like there were several more Republicans that were going to leave Congress, where we could get into Hakeem Jeffries as speaker, but I almost feel like Mike Johnson is out. Like he's fish food. April, like it's coming soon.
Dang.
Not fish food.
Dang, that's for Kevin.
I love it. Well, he is Moses, and he was supposed to part the Red Sea, so he is, fish food. Oh wow, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I think she's really gone and done it. Like, yes, he's host, but I think MTG has really gone and done it. Like, she's next on the hit list. I really do. I think she's because she has fought so hard to be an idiot, and taking great pride in it.
Fought so hard to be an idiot. That's a good line right there. Only a Republican.
That she's been a very convenient mouthpiece for a lot of the extremists, in the House. But I also think she's turning into a huge liability, and an inconvenience, and she's not serving a purpose, because at some point, I think the voting populace is going to really take a look at this Congress's record, which is zero zilch, and say, what the hell are we paying you all for? Like,
right.
you do. And she leads she's at the top of that list. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think her time is marked as well as Johnson. I think Kevin's right on. Johnson is toast, fish food. Now you put that in my mind.
Yeah, I know. All
like I'm seeing him as little flakes.
Yeah.
But I don't think Marjorie is far behind him.
Interesting. Yeah. I was picking up more so. I don't know. I do feel like there would be some that would vote her out, but they only have a 1-seat margin, and Republicans are dropping like flies in the House. So are they really going to push a vote right now?
No.
I do see her out, and I agree with you on that, Afefe, but I almost feel like she may get reelected, and then spring of next year, when January 6th stuff starts to really kind of get bigger as we get closer to the election, she'll be forced out because of January 6th stuff. To me, it feels like very early into her new term.
Yeah. I agree.
But I do agree with you. I do think that they're going to start attacking her. I just don't know if they're going to actually vote her out right now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she's going out right away, but I think she's getting ready to get on the hit list.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Fight Club. It's like Fight Club in the Republicans. I mean, they're just going to be going at each other. There's a sense of desperation because they can feel Jack Smith's breath on their back of their neck, and they're just desperate. So do you guys feel like Jeffries? So do you feel like Johnson is going to be gone by June?
I think he's out April or May.
That's definitely before June.
I think he's out very soon. Like I feel like April is my first hit. It's going to be crazy. We're already seeing all of we've seen the madness with McCarthy, him even getting in as speaker, them doing nothing but fighting, and all of these sham hearings. And it just feels like as we get closer and closer to the election, it just continues to implode and get bigger and bigger and bigger. The chaos party. And I think the American people see it now, but it's going to be like, we can't support this. We can't vote for this. Any sane person that's not drink the Kool-Aid anyway.
Yeah, I hear you, Kevin. And also to your point about June, it just pinged me. So if I'm on top of things, so apparently now Johnson is talking more about Ukraine aid.
Yes, he is.
And
yes, he is.
That goes through without any measures on the border.
Yes.
Yeah, he's red meat fish
food. Let's face it.
Red meat fish food. He's gone from place to red. Yeah, because if he does that, and we know the only way that's going to go through is with Democratic support. So it's going to really, you know what, Kevin? That June timeline might be about right.
And and Kevin sees it a little earlier. He sees it April, May. So he sees it April, May. And I'm you're feeling like MJT might limp. I get this sense of like wounded in battle, but limping along through the rest of the year. I'm not sure she's going to do it. I heard 1-2 punch. It's like Johnson, MTG. I don't think Boebert is going to win. Do you think Boebert's going to win? Because I don't think any of us have seen Boebert winning. I hate to say it, but I'm starting to feel sorry for her because her life is such a drama. It could be on some Netflix show, a really bad show. It's terrible.
Look, the Stormy Daniels got a Netflix special. Lauren might be next. We don't know.
Oh my God. So we all three still see Trump going out. Somebody asked, I know we have to remind you guys all the time, but I understand it's stressful. It's stressful for us too. But we all still see Trump exiting stage right? Like, I don't know how he exits. I don't know if it's a medical event like a stroke or a heart attack, or if it's his brain. Like, they do talk about this kind of different dementias that he could have, frontal lobe dementia, whatever, that it's like a cliff. They talk about that it's like a cliff, like you're trundling along and then so it's an acute phase. It's like an instant snap, you're gone. So it's not a gentle, demise. So however he does that, when do you guys feel, when is your current, because the energy is always changing, you guys, we can't dial this in. People have free will. We're not God. He's got his own contract with source. But when do you feel but because when he woke me up in the other night, in the middle of the night, I was like, by the way, since you woke me up, is Trump gonna die this week? Okay, I'm in detention for real. Well, I'm like, you woke me up at 3:30 in the morning. Let's have a conversation. But anyway, when do you guys feel like he might be inactivated? They said inactivated.
Well, I think it's how you define inactivated, Susan, because I feel like it could go either way.
Any way you want, Kevin.
I could see him having a massive stroke, but still surviving it. And I do feel like major health challenges this summer for him. But is he still around? When somebody's going to pass, it's a little hard to kind of pick that up, but I don't feel like he has much time left. Is it something that's sudden that takes him out, or does he have like a massive stroke that leaves him, in a vegetable state until he passes in like a year? That's what it kind of feels like me. It's hard to kind of decide which one it's going to be.
But he's not going to be able to run.
I think the energy is more likely than not. I don't see him around when people come to vote.
How about you, Afefe?
I can't see the timing, but they just keep showing me, I'm coming out of left field here with this one, but they just keep showing me, as you all were talking, images of Wendy Williams. I don't know if you all, or how many of you remember Wendy Williams, talk show host, and she had that. Some people said it was a stroke. Some people said it was related to drugs or whatever, but it was the beginning of her demise, where she was on the show and she fell out. She went into like and just fell out, and never, that was the beginning of the end for her.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Sudden, like you're saying, like something really sudden, but I'm not getting a sense of timing for that. But I just feel like it's something sudden, and it's going to be so obvious, so clear, so unavoidable that nobody's going to be able to talk their way out of it. He can't talk his way out of it. His handlers won't be able to say, we didn't see what we saw. It's almost giving me, he's going to have to go off the map for a few days.
Yeah.
And cat's out the bag. He's not good. But I don't know timing. I can't.
What do you feel for timing, Susan? Is it August, September resonating with you?
Yeah, because this is what's interesting. I see, well, I have to take that back. They told me in one of these 2:30 in the morning sessions, when you're going to wake me up, you're going to get it. I don't know why they do that, but they did tell me June. Again, back to June. So this event could happen in June. He could, I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole, y'all, but I'm not going to read on this. I promise you, I'm not going to read on this, but I just want to say it's almost like Princess Kate disappears. And then you saw that. And then you have, like a McConnell who kind of like is robotically still doing his thing. And he kind of fritzes out every once in a while. He could sort of limp along like that and try to obfuscate, or I don't see Biden putting up with that. I think Biden would be pretty like, hey, let's see Trump, let's do a debate, I think Biden would really be on that. But who's to stop him from continuing to be on the ballot, even if he's not showing up?
Could it be, Susan, though, if you're picking up June, maybe Trump does short circuit a little bit and we see it live. So there's the concerns there. But then August, like, he gets the nomination, even though he's, not all there, gets the nomination at the the convention, I think is in July, and then after the convention, August, September, either he's out completely or like majorly short circuits, and then the Republican Party scrambling, like, what do we do? Who are we throwing in this spot? And the MAGA cult thinks that it's all a plot to get rid of
Yes.
Trump, and they're still voting for him.
Yes,
That's what
that's
it
true.
kind of feels like to
That's
me.
true. That is true. And then we have to produce a body because these people think that Biden is really Trump. I mean, I don't even know what these people think, right? But we'd have to really do that thing that Linda G always saw where he's in the glass coffin in the mall.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd have to do that. I agree. I think August. What are you getting there, Afefe? Are you getting some information like a Putin double? Exactly, Ted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A double, like you'll get a double. It's happening in June. I don't know what I got. The lovers represented by Gemini. That goes into June. I do feel like something's happening in June, but to Kevin's point, whatever happens in June accelerates around August.
Okay.
Hey, that's it. That's it right there.
It accelerates. And we've that sort of ties into what I think we all three have been feeling during this whole session is this progressive, the pressure mounting, like one thing leads to the next, to the next, to the next. So something kicks off in June, to Susan's point, and then to Kevin's point, then it heightens around August. Does anybody think, is Haley back in it at all?
Yeah, of course she is.
Do you think she'll actually be, though, the nominee?
I don't think so. I think it's a write-in. I think it's mayhem. I've never seen a formal anointed Republican presidential nominee. I've seen mayhem. Like, I'm writing in Trump. I'm writing in Haley. I'm writing in,
It's a shit show, is what it is.
Yeah, it's like a shit show. It really is. It's a
what do we do? I don't think it's ever happened that a nominee.
And I've always seen that for a whole year.
So it's like, what are the rules here? Who do we put in? We can't have another primary. It just feels like it's so chaotic and disorganized, and everybody's just like, what do we do? That's the energy that I feel going into the fall and into the election for the Republicans.
And that's what I've been seeing for a long time. You've been seeing it for a long time. There's just complete chaos around the Republican nominee, which means Trump is out of the picture in whatever way that is. And then people are left to their own devices to write in the candidate that they want, which kind of casts a little bit of an aspersion on Biden, because people could say, well, he didn't really have a Republican runner. He didn't really have a fair election because the Republican. So, that's going to cast some doubt, or, not really, but the Trumpers will use that anyway. I mean, they would say anything about anything. But
do you almost feel, though, that whoever Trump picks as his VP will get the spot for him, but then you have Nikki Haley and DeSantis in the wings trying to fight that and like running a write-in campaign? That's what it almost feels like to me.
Ooh, Kevin.
When do you pick your VP? When do they have to pick their VP?
Does
anybody
know?
They do it by the convention.
Yeah, because I think the convention they get put on the ballot.
Yeah,
the vice president with the president.
When is the convention?
July.
Okay. I never really saw him picking a vice president.
Okay.
So, but as I'm looking at it now, I can see him picking a vice president, but it's like, who I'm seeing? I'm seeing that guy from Florida who just got married, who as a 58-year-old virgin, who I'm talking about.
Tim Scott from South Carolina. That's who I've been seeing.
Tim Scott.
I just saw Tim Scott. God help them if Tim Scott is. See, I don't think they're going to go for that. So what are the rules? We need a constitutional attorney. Does anybody know one on speed dial? What are the rules if he picks the vice president, nominates the vice president? Oh my God, this could go down before the convention. It could go down before they process the convention votes. But let's just say it doesn't. Let's say it goes through the convention. You have Trump, you have whoever his VP is. And then let's say if people are like, we don't want that person as our president. That was Trump's pick. That wasn't our pick. Then what's the...
See, everybody in the chat is kind of like, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's the energy that we're tapping into. That's why it's so hard to actually give you all like a very clear prediction, because you're following the energy into a shit show. It's like,
Right.
what do we do?
So Scott,
it's
Scott,
very fuzzy.
So would it be the and the thing that irritates me as a psychic is I watch these legal scholars and they don't know what's coming. And I saw one of them go, "Oh my God, what if we don't have a nominee?" When he's freaking out. And I was like, exactly. I've been saying that for a year. Why don't y'all, hire one of us so we can help you, So, they don't even know to ask the question because they don't see it coming. Why they don't see it coming is because another problem, because you see Trump, like, just literally all the nurses on Twitter, all the nurses that I do readings for are like, man, this guy's going down. I mean, he's not going to be viable, in months. I mean, everybody can see it, but these legal commentators are just going along like this guy's going to be completely viable in November.
I just want to thank Karen Adams, I think is the name. Karen, thank you. I've been watching you pop up in the chat. Thank you so much. So she said she looked it up and that Haley could, in fact, because she was technically, she was the runner-up in the primaries. So that technically she nominated according to the rules, if I got that right. Karen, please let me know. I think that's what I thought. I saw her say, I'm going to look it up, and then she came back and said,
thanks,
Haley
Karen.
could be put up as the second in line behind him.
I don't see Haley as the nominee, though.
I don't see it.
But we were talking about the rules and what.
But she could. So she could be a problem. Well, I don't think so. But anyway, I don't know. Christie could run. I mean, I think everybody can put their hat in the ring. That's why I think it's a shit show, right? Because I think then it's just a write-in. And there's not going to be, I don't feel like the Republicans coalesced around anybody. They didn't like Nikki. 20% of them like Nikki. They don't like anybody else. They don't really like DeSantis, got like 8% or something, right? So it's really Trump or nothing. It's Trump or bust. So without a Trump, it's just mayhem. Oh, she has some electoral votes. Okay, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing, right? Because they are gathering electoral. She got 15 electoral votes.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some constitutional scholars up in here.
This is Adams. That's who I was talking about. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you,
the
Karen.
thing is with Nikki Haley is that the Republican Party does not like her. You have some moderate Republicans and independents voting for her. So a very small chunk, I would say 2/3 to 3/4 of the party is on the Trump train. And they will not vote for Nikki Haley. So maybe that's where they don't know who to nominate.
And that's why I asked you earlier about Kennedy, because he's just wacky enough for a lot of those votes. And he's going to be on the ballot. If he's going to be on the ballot, then he's just wacky enough to siphon off those Trump voters. Again, nobody's going to beat Biden. We're not saying Biden is going to lose. I don't see it. I don't think my wonderful co-host here see it. We just don't see it. But we're just kind of talking out the different scenarios.
Yes.
It'll be interesting. Everybody get your popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn ready and get your amethyst and whatever you need to calm yourself down. Is that in New Hampshire that just had a 2.2 earthquake? Mama O says I think you're in New Hampshire.
I don't think you'd be able to feel that though. At 2.2, I don't think
you
can
don't think
feel.
You would feel it? Oh, honey, I'd be feeling it. I know I would feel it. I'd be like, get out.
You might be, but I don't think most of the people would sense it. We've had a couple like 4.5 here in Ohio. Yeah, you can feel those, but I think under a 3, most people don't even feel them.
Okay, yeah. Here's another New Hampshireite person didn't feel it. Okay. All right. Well, hold on, guys, because things are just crazy right now and anything can happen. Oh, she says in Meredith, my whole house shook and felt like a car slammed into a pole nearby. Wow. Girl, you must have been sitting on top of that thing. They feel like a big truck going by. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, maybe one more question. We're at 124. Let's go to 130, 1 hour and 30 minutes. One more question. Anybody? Do you guys have a question? I've already talked about Youngkin. I know I agree that I think Youngkin is the most logical choice, but he doesn't want it. I don't think he wants it. Do you guys think Youngkin wants the presidency this time around?
He doesn't want to do it this time around. He doesn't want to be the one that either goes up against Trump or has to deal with all the fallout with Trump. He will run, and he actually very well might be the nominee in 2028.
I agree.
Yeah, on board with completely on board with that.
Yeah.
To Kevin's point earlier, and I think Susan, you said this as well. There's just people have just bought so 100% into Trump that making that adjustment, really tough.
I think what you meant, Sandra, was when do we all settle down? I think this is a good thing to end on. I feel like, and I want to get each of y'all's takes. I feel like 2025 is a sort of a year of priorities. I feel like we have the House, the Senate, the presidency. I'm not sure how much of a majority we have, but I do think they'll try to get rid of the filibuster. They'll try to talk about ranked choice voting. They might even talk about the Electoral College. I mean, they're going to be talking about some big picture things that they're going to need the control of the House and the Senate and the presidency to get passed. They're going to make good use of this time. I feel like even though that could feel like a lot of change and change can sometimes be unsettling, these Trumpers aren't going anywhere. Even though Trump goes somewhere, the Trumpers are not going somewhere. So they're still going to be kind of loud. They're still going to be like, trying to, change the optics and the narrative and all of that stuff. But overall, I feel like we're evening out. There could be some unrest, some people in the streets in 25, but I think overall, I really feel like a steady hand on the tiller. I really think we're coming out of this dumpster fire and riding off into a sunset. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said, Susan. And the energy is not going to ever be perfect. I'll just say that. I mean, really, I think if we need to take care of ourselves, make sure that we're prioritizing ourselves, making sure that we're grounding ourselves, not taking on all of this crap in the world as our own, but using it to motivate us to speak truth to power. So it's so important not to allow all of the craziness to consume us. I'll just say that. But I agree. It does feel like 2025 feels like it's starting to slow down, but there's still some challenges or kind of figuring things out, figuring out the aftermath. 2026 feels very good. It's like that's when we can start to really implement these changes to really put in the rules and regulations so that nobody like Trump could ever come in and destroy our democracy. And that's what really Trump is here for. He's that agent of change so that we realize how fragile our democracy is. So then we can put those safeguards in. And that's what it feels like 2026. And I do feel like there's more progress even going farther than that. Like I said, 2028 feels a little bit wonky for me. I don't know if the Republican's going to win or if the Democrat will win. I think it will depend on who the nominee is, but we're definitely getting out of a lot of the craziness, I think, like 2026.
Awesome.
I was going to say 2026. 2025 is still feeling really wonky for me for a number of reasons. One, all of the aftermath of the election, even with the outcome that we want and we know is going to happen, but still it's going to be extremely unsettled. Also, going back to these pending cases, even if DJT is no longer here, we still got, especially in the Georgia case, we still have all of these other cases that at some point should proceed. Yeah. So I just think there's going to be enough flux going through 2025 that I agree, Kevin, it's gonna ease up certainly, but I don't see us hitting a sort of stride until maybe moving into 2026. And there's also, for our astrologers, there's some sort of transit that is ending or culminating in 2026, something that started in 2023. I'll think about that, and I'll talk about it at some point. I do remember there's something astrologically that shifts in 2026.
Yeah.
For the better. I mean,
for the better, or at least the tension of that transit lets up around 2026.
Well, you're going to see a lot of the court cases with the January 6th stuff and a lot of these MAGA Republicans involved with that going into 2025. So you're going to really see them fighting hard to try to hold on, to save themselves. So that's where it feels like they're still like trying to incite the base. And some people will be upset, I think, with Trump not getting reelected. But then it's like 2026, it feels like we can really put those safeguards in place and the energy feels more calm.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
So it's overall, guys, it's going to get better. I mean, especially I think compared to how bad it's been. Okay. I think even though we could be having a rocky road in 25, it's going to feel better compared to where we've been. I do see more peace in the world. I feel like this Israeli-Palestinian thing is going to be kind of like, I see coals that are still hot, but no fire. Okay. So, like not the coals aren't out all the way, but there's no fire. And I also think, and I don't want to take us too much longer, but we have not talked about Ukraine, but I feel like there's more peace in the world. I feel like there's some tenable solution for Ukraine to move forward. It might not be the perfect solution, but I feel like there's something. So I think 2025 also can be a little bit more peaceful.
Yeah. I was going to add that, Susan.
Yeah, very good point. And also, I'm wondering if I'm feeling a little bit like, because of what happened in Russia, with that attack, that's going to sort of divert, not necessarily all of the attention, but everything was just full steam ahead with Ukraine from their perspective, from Putin's perspective. I think Putin's going to have his hands full. I don't think that was the last thing in Russia. Right?
No,
right. You feeling that?
I don't think so either. I think it's going to get really elevated in a way that I don't think the United States or anybody else wanted. But here we are. The Republicans have hamstrung Ukraine. They need to do what they need to do. And this is a survival. This is their survival as a country. And I think they should be, and they're about to get those F-16s. And the guides always said, that was going to turn everything around. Now, I know some people that are into war strategy said it's not going to, but my guides say it's going to. They're training more of the Ukrainian pilots right now. So that's going to be a game changer too, because I think Ukraine is going to go into Russia just the way you said, Afefe. That was something the United States said they couldn't do. It was one of those stipulations. But hey, the United States is not giving you any money. You got to do what you got to do. So that could actually flare up before it comes back down. But
Putin's going to be fighting two wars, because when his people uprise and protest, and then he has to deal with Ukraine too. And I still feel like the mercenary group's coming in to take Putin out as well. So
I agree.
I feel like there's a lot of civil unrest in Russia this year, but ultimately it will lead to a better Russia when they can overthrow Putin.
Exactly. And to Susan's point earlier, that also contributes to that peace ultimately, or things settling down for Ukraine, because Russia's getting ready to hit it. They're getting ready to get a lot.
They're getting ready to get it, and they're not prepared for it. They can't handle what's getting ready to come their way. It could really kind of blow up in a way that
Navalny's karma.
It's true. That's true too, right? Yeah, that's true too. Wow. But overall, there's going to be peace in the land, you guys. And I just want to say again, Kevin, and I know Afefe agrees, you guys, you got to take care of yourselves. We've got to take care of ourselves. This is an immense amount of toxicity. This is an immense amount of stress that we've been under with the pandemic and Trump and all of this, right? Please learn how to release the energy. Watch videos on how to release the energy. Kevin membership, Afefe membership, check out their channels, check out their readings. You need help. We have help. We're all here to help you. We give a lot of stuff away right here on YouTube. So please check out their channels, subscribe, and take really, really good care of yourselves. Okay, everybody? All right, you guys, we're going to sign off, and we'll maybe do this again sometime. Did you guys?
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was so,
I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Great time.
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Let's do it again.
We should do it again sometime. Okay, everybody, y'all take really good care. Okay, we'll see you guys again soon. Bye, everybody.